Hey, everybody. Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast. Great to have you here. This podcast is about us learning about our CrossFit Edwardsville community, our CFE coaches, our local CrossFitters here, and really kind of also to learn about the Glen Carbon Edwardsville / Glen Ed community and even some of the leaders and business owners there. So I am your co-host. I'm Dallas Amston. I'm the Chief Ignition Officer for Men of Faith and Fire. And I also host a podcast of the same name, Men of Faith and Fire. Great to have you here. And one of the great things about Men of Faith and Fire is that we talk a lot with Christian dads who are battling burnout, and we help them get back on point and on fire in their lives, in their relationships, in their businesses, all of it. So great to be here. And my co-host is...
Hey guys, so I'm Greg Skelly, the CEO and GM of CrossFit Edwardsville. I'm the other co-host of the CFE Community Podcast, and I'm really stoked because at long last, we finally get to speak one of the most original and most gangster of the CFE OGs, Mr. Randy Lemon. Randy, welcome at last to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast.
It's a pleasure being here today. I'm looking forward to some of the questions that I've read so far.
Yeah, I want you to know you were the most requested guest for this podcast. So the people have spoken. Randy, they want to hear from you. We're really excited to learn more about your story. For anybody who doesn't know Randy Lemon, I want to go ahead and do a little bit of an intro. He officially became a part of our CrossFit Edwardsville community on August 25th of 2012. But he actually started with us before that in the days when we were just starting out in the Meyer YMCA and the Edwardsville Township Community Park, aka Airplane Park. So I don't want to steal his thunder, so I'm actually going to let him tell that story himself. So Randy, let's go back to the early days. How did you first find out about CrossFit Edwardsville?
You know, I've always worked out, and I was working out at the Y, and I happened to see these crazy two people doing all kinds of crazy things in the gym, and curiosity got the best of me. So I went up to Greg and Caroline, and I said, are you guys like trainers and everything? They both chuckled, said, no, we do CrossFit. And I said, wow, I'd really like to come see you do that sometime. They both chuckled again and said, well, why don't you just come do it with us? And I said, look, I just saw what you just did. There is no way I can do that. But they did invite me to a class. And back then it wasn't 2 weeks of classes. It was one day. And I talked my daughter into doing it for Father's Day. So in June before August, we went to our first class and we went through it, and we got back in the car and I looked at my daughter and I said, what'd you think? She goes, I'm about ready to puke. And I said, me too. And she goes, but we can't quit. They'll think we're quitters. We have to keep going.
We have all felt that, Randy.
I've kept going ever since. My daughter happened to get a job in St. Louis and has not been going to CrossFit, but she gained so many benefits from it. And she still talks about wanting to come back if she ever can. And I think I can talk her into it now because she's working from home and it's going to be consistently from home. So maybe I can get her back in the gym. And she's if there's anybody that can drive me, she's the one that can drive me.
Absolutely. That's one of the cool things about the CrossFit experience is having people that push you to do way more than you would do on your own. And Randy, I want to pick your brain more about your family because a big part of this podcast is for all of us CrossFitters to get to really know the man behind the sugar wad sensation, the whiteboard wonder that is Randy Lemon. So let's get into some questions that we have for you. So the man behind the legend. So Randy, let's go back to your early days. Tell us about your upbringing, your childhood, like where you're from, what your family was like, any special memories that really shaped you as a person.
I'll be honest with you. I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, and for most of you, you think of the Wizard of Oz. So, you know, they always asked, how's Dorothy and stuff, which is always funny. But I was very fortunate. Both my parents worked, and they instilled in me that work ethic. My dad was the hard skills type guy. He could fix anything that you could put in front of him. He was an electrician. The one thing I wish I would have got from him, he has a photographic memory. I didn't get that, unfortunately. My mom, on the other hand, was the soft skills. She was the one that you could go to the grocery store with her and she'd run into 20 people and you'd be in the grocery store for a couple hours. She was also the one that always worked 2 jobs. She drove the bus for the school, and driving back home with the kids, she'd always stop by the Dairy Queen and buy them all ice cream. So I think I gained a lot from both of them. And I've seen it in my own daughters. I have 2 daughters, both grown and out of the house, both with given me 2 grandchildren, a boy and a girl, which is great.
Oh, yay.
But the thing that I see in both my daughters is that work ethic. I see that the soft skills that my mom always gave. And one of the things she always said was treat people how you want to be treated. And I've honestly tried my hardest to keep that as a mainstay in everything I do, that how would I be treated in a situation is how I want to be treated, or how I want to treat other people. So that's, I mean, the most important things that I took away from my childhood. Unfortunately, back then, my parents didn't go to church. It was neighbors that would take us to church. Because they were both working so much, they didn't have that as a priority. I was very fortunate. I married my wife, coming on 39 years this year. Talk about
Wow,
feeling
man,
old.
Hey,
congratulations.
let's take a pause for that. Congratulations,
You
man.
know,
That
and
takes some work.
she was the one that grew up in the church, and her dad was a lay pastor. They went to church on Wednesday night, Saturday night, Sunday. Very good foundation, and so that was really helpful for me. I really didn't get instilled in church until I went to high school, and ironically, my dad, being an electrician, he helped build a Catholic high school,
Hmm.
and really just the priest and the nuns got a hold of him and didn't let go. So he took us out of public school and put us into a Catholic high school. And the funny story there is the girls' school was across the way in a field, and we snuck over and we'd go over to the school. And one day we snuck over, and all of a sudden, I had a sister a year older than I. Uh, Shoved me and the 3 guys that went with me underneath the table, and we're going, what's going on? Well, the nuns were coming. And what I didn't realize is that she had told everybody that we were twins. And the reason she told everybody we were twins is because when she was in 2nd grade, she got put back because she had 5 teachers that year. So from 2nd grade on, we were in the same grade. And we're a lot alike in everything we do. I mean, she really could be my twin. So until we graduated, people thought we were twins. And there are still people today that think we're twins.
That's
So those
That's
are
so
some of
funny.
the background to my growing up. My dad, I played baseball from the time I was 5 until I was in college. For some reason, bowling back then was really big, and so I bowled from the time I was 5 all the way into college, and even got on a league in college and stuff. So those are the 2 things that I did a lot of. I went to KU, graduated,
Right,
and
dude. Love it.
I I started in a dorm, went into an apartment, then went into a fraternity. So there's all kinds of stories, but we don't have enough time to tell those stories, and I don't know
from
that I want to tell those stories.
from Catholic boy running into the schools, the girls' school across the field, to frat boy. Randy, you've done it all.
You know, I can say that I've been very blessed in the things I've been able to do, and I look back and think, "Ooh, why did I do that?" So there's 2 sides of the fence.
Of
Uh,
course.
so I've been very, very lucky in my life. I think that's a good start to where I come from.
Good start. Absolutely. So family now, you're married to Sharon,
Uh-huh.
and amazing. I know that like Caroline and I, like we look up to you guys tremendously, like the relationship you guys have. Always trying to learn from you guys about like how to make like an amazing marriage relationship happen. Thank you for being a mentor to us, by the way. You know, we've had conversations like this before. So I also want to do a little shout out, Randy, to your daughter, like Lauren. When she was like CrossFitting with us in the early days, like if there ever was somebody who's like just a gifted athlete, it's Lauren. She just, you know, you teach her something like an exercise one time and she gets it. And I'm like, I don't know where she got that from because it definitely wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me, but actually, my wife is very athletic. She
Yeah,
actually was a runner, and she would go and lift weights and stuff. So I think that lucky for Lauren, she took after her mom.
that's great. Yeah, I remember we taught her how to walk on her hands one day, and then she was just busting out handstand walks like it was nothing. I mean, just gifted. And you must be very proud. Phenomenal young woman.
She actually was the one that pushed me to further than I thought I could go.
In CrossFit world, you mean?
Oh yeah, when we first started, she would do a deadlift at 300 and I'd have to do it 325 just so I could beat her. And she would just laugh at me. Um, I mean, honestly, I remember a time when I got up to the point where I was at 345 and she had done like 340 and I was going, I gotta do 345. I did it, but I actually got real dizzy and fell backwards up against the wall. And I thought she was gonna wet her pants because she was laughing so hard. So, you know, we all need that person that motivates and pushes us. That's for sure.
Sure. So Randy, tell us about like work and hobbies outside the gym now. Like, if you still bowl, like tell us about the man outside the gym today.
I've been very fortunate. I've only worked 3 jobs in my lifetime. And I started after college. Um, had been working 3 jobs going through college. I did hot tar roofing. I worked at Sears, and I worked in an Italian restaurant that my parents knew the owners, and they actually came to our house and had us try it before they opened. So all of us kids worked there. But after college, I actually was called by someone and said, hey, you waited on me in the restaurant, and I think you have a lot of skills we are looking for. And so I started working in a jewelry store, which was nowhere close to where I ever thought I
Sure.
would be. And I excelled at it. And within 6 months, they made me the assistant manager. Within a year, they wanted to transfer me to Minnesota and as a manager, and I did all of that. And then I got engaged with my wife, and she came to visit, went in a ditch a couple times. So we didn't stay in Minnesota very long. Right after we married, we moved back to Wichita. But I did 26 years working in a jewelry store. So all the women, when I'd go to parties, were just like my best friend. All the guys hated me because, obviously I was spending their money. And then
Yeah.
about after 26 years, I knew that I always told myself if I didn't like what I was doing, I needed to switch jobs. And I made the decision to switch jobs. And I went to work for a supplemental company for 5 years. So I went from the shiny stuff on the outside to working on the inside. And that was about the same time that I started CrossFit. So they kind of went hand in hand. And then after 5 years of supplemental, they started struggling. So I moved on to where I work today, which is Boar's Head. So I'm still working on the inside with healthy protein and everything. So it's kind of like fitting. The man upstairs just keeps putting me in places where I need to be. So can't complain.
Love it, man. And you mentioned the man upstairs. You're clearly a man of faith, and I think it's one of the reasons that we have gotten along so well is that faith is a huge part of my life as well. Also true for Dallas. So can you like briefly just tell us, because I think it's great for us to get to know this side of you. Tell us about how your faith has positively impacted your life, or like about like your relationship with the Lord and how like what difference that's made for you.
It's funny. I always tell everybody how blessed I am because the man upstairs has watched out for me from
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah.
Every situation I've ever been in, um, he's always been there, keeping me from doing something I shouldn't, picking up the pieces when I've went ahead and done it anyway. But I will tell you that probably the most impactful time was when we first lived here in Illinois. And at that time, Metro Community Church, where I attend, was meeting in a high school, a grade school actually, and then to the high school. And we just happened to get into a core group, and the core group happened to be the pastor, his wife, his sister, and her husband, and another probably 10 couples that we just meshed with, and we just hung on to their shirt tails and learned and grew. And I have a love for working with teenagers. So for the past 10 years, I've actually been working with the teenagers in our church. And I've gone on mission trips. I've gone on trips to Florida for with the teens. And my wife and I have sponsored 3 little kids in El Salvador, and they're like everything to us.
That's
We're going to put them
awesome.
through college. We're going to just be there for them. So I feel like paying it forward and really doing what you're supposed to do, and that is uh, cliche saying, love your neighbor and treat them as yourself, is what we've lived our lives by, is always trying to help people and be there for people. And so, like I said, I've been very blessed. And then I come to CrossFit, and to me, that's my second family. My wife says it's my social hour, but
It
I've,
is. Let's be
I,
real.
yeah, but I haven't really met anybody that I don't like, and I think that doesn't hurt.
Well,
There's
there's the one person, but we don't talk about that one person.
Well, yeah, but that's on the sideline. So I mean, really, I mean, CrossFit has really changed my life, because when I met Greg and Caroline, I had just finished leaving the job of 26 years, and I didn't really realize how stressed I was.
Mm,
But the 209 pounds that I was carrying told me how stressed I was. And my wife admitted to me later on, she goes, I just figured you were going to have a heart attack the way you're pushing yourself and all the stress.
mm,
So CrossFit was that blessing that came along. And I still think the man upstairs put you in my life. I was meant to meet you two. I was meant to go to CrossFit. And I would tell anybody that isn't doing some form of working out, they're missing out.
mm.
And CrossFit is, to me, I worked out at the Y, and I felt good, but CrossFit is a full body workout. I, I, I felt muscles I've never felt before after the first month. And it's like, I still do at times.
Yeah, I'm actually feeling some of those muscles today, actually.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes 3 of us.
You know,
So, Randy, what are some of your favorite memories from the early days of CrossFit? Give like now you have, gosh, like 9 years of perspective. Tell us
you
some of your
know,
favorite memories from yesteryear.
well, I will tell you that I never thought that I would do a competition. Greg, back in the day, that was what he focused on, getting people to do competitions. And I never felt that I had the ability to do a competition. But I did my first Festivus. And I chuckle to this day. When you're in the thick of things, you can do more than you ever thought. And sometimes you can do it wrong. And it just so happened I was doing the Masters, and I was doing it with my Paul buddy, or Paul, my buddy, and
Dr. Paul,
Dr.
and
Paul.
we were doing hand release push-ups. So we were doing really good. We were pacing, our knee raises, everything synchronized was really good. We got to those handstand, hand release push-ups, and stupid here is jumping up in the air doing them as opposed to just off the ground. And I thought Paul was going to kill me. But it is a story that gets told a lot, and I'm sure there's many other stories that can be told, but that one stands out to me. We still, we did place, so it wasn't like we didn't place. But I won't tell you how many teams were in the Masters.
Yeah,
sure.
it's like
You
that
know,
person we don't talk about. Don't worry about
right,
that.
right, right.
Don't worry about those facts.
So that's one of those times that crack me up. Um,
Sure. Other wild or funny memories?
Doing the Open as in a Superman outfit probably is up there at the top. That always makes me laugh. I think that the thing that I've learned is that that extra weight that I was carrying kept me from doing or trying things that I could have done way back then if I'd have just got on the nutrition train and lost the weight quicker. As soon as I learned that if I lose the weight, then I can do a pull up a whole lot easier. I'm not pulling up as much weight because I would always use the band. I just would. But what's funny is when we are just getting started, I didn't know you could say no or you could scale or anything. I just figure if Greg or Caroline or any of the other coaches said, this is what we're doing, you had to do it. And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I chuckle to this day that I didn't start scaling until we got to the gym that was presently where we're at.
Yeah, the new
So, I
facility.
mean, yeah, so it's little things like that that you chuckle at and laugh. I love partner workouts because I always feel like I do better because I don't want to let other person let them down. I remember being talked into wearing a weighted vest during Murph, and the only reason I did it is because I didn't want to let down my partner, and I made it through.
Wow.
I made it
Oh
through.
man,
I would have let
that's
that person down.
So
I would have,
hey, hey,
I would have just said it's not going to happen. Sorry.
it's just one of those things. I am very competitive. I wish I had the ability to be more competitive. But long as I beat Paul and Jerry and some of the others that are in the masters, I'm feeling pretty good. I look down a lot of times in our class. Christian is down there, and I look at him thinking, gosh, I wish I would have been able to start even before Christian
sure.
has. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
to have that the stamina and the wanting to beat everybody in the gym, I look up to him. I think he's a great example to what you can be if you just push yourself.
love it. So Randy, you've been here almost 9 years. What makes you stick around CFE?
It's kind of funny. I use CFE not only for a social hour, but really to relieve stress.
Yeah.
When I feel my most stressed, I can go into the gym, and I always do the morning classes because I know my personality. If I wait till the afternoon or evening, I'll find a reason not to do it. But if I go first thing, get it, start my day, I know I'm going to get up and go. Plus, if I could give anybody any advice, it's find accountability people, people that you like working out with that are
Yeah.
going to push you to show up. I get a text if I don't show up, you
Right.
know, and likewise, I do it to other people that I want to see come to the gym and work out with them. So I think that it's the family that I've created. I mean, there are so many people, and not just inside of the CFE, but outside of CFE. Getting together. The different programs that you and Caroline have put together. I mean, from gymnastics to rucking to there's always something new and innovative and stuff that I want to try and do. And I figure as long as I can keep working out, I'm going to keep working out. And
Yeah.
I'm not the oldest anymore, so it's kind of exciting. Unless you ask Caroline, who makes me 70 and a half at this point. But no, I think it's the people. I think it's the coaching. I can't
Sure.
tell you how lucky we are to have the coaches we have.
Thank you.
Um,
We appreciate that.
they watch out for you. They make sure your form's good. And I've learned that I would rather have less weight and better form than try
Sure.
to, do more weight and do it wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And so according to Zen Planner, Randy Lemon has done in the ballpark of 1,250 workouts total with us. So,
Dang.
two questions. First, what is your favorite workout you have ever done with us?
it's kind of funny because I thought about that, and I love Murph. It's kind of a double-edged sword. When I first did Murph, it was the most god awful thing I'd ever done. But as you move on and get better and learn, it's a great workout that recognizes someone that give us our freedom and
Yes.
lost their life for it.
Yeah.
So Murph is my favorite.
If anybody is listening and not familiar with Murph, it's a hero workout named after a soldier that gave his life in defense of our freedom here in the country. The workout is a 1 mile run, 100 pull ups, 200 push ups, 300 air squats, 1 mile run, as written, wearing a weight vest for the whole thing. So, this is Randy's official favorite workout ever. But, Randy, one of the questions we got from our CrossFitters was your least favorite workout ever, or to put another way, the most brutal workout you've ever done. Go.
Okay. I had to think long and hard because I love the Thanksgiving and Christmas countdown,
Mm.
but they're tough.
Yeah.
But the worst workout in all the time I've been at CrossFit is filthy 50.
The filthy 50.
Yeah, 10 things that you have to do 50 of is the worst. It's one of those workouts that when you're done, you feel like you've accomplished something because you've went through hell.
Yeah.
So that's the worst.
So for anybody who's new to this, Filthy 50, standard benchmark CrossFit workout, 10 exercises, 50 reps each. It starts with, I think, box jumps, jumping pull-ups, kettlebell swings, double unders, wall balls, burpees. It's just an epic festival of ridiculous fitness. This is Randy's official most brutal workout ever. So Randy, like now, 9 years later, what's your number one goal in fitness? Like what do you want to achieve more than anything?
You know, it's funny. I just had a one-on-one touch base with Sean, and I will have to tell you that we talked for about a half an hour, and he was very thorough in his questions and everything. And I know I'm not overweight, but I do have a really bad weakness, and that's sweets. And so I might not show the weight I have, but everybody has weight. It's just where it's distributed. And in my family, it's all in the lower part of the stomach. And so he told me I had to measure around to my belly button. And I thought, oh, that's not bad. Until I did it. And I looked at the number and I said, holy moly, I'm fat. And then he told me that I needed to do a body fat and I haven't
Sure.
done that yet. I need to get that done. And then he walked me through, you know, if you want to lose and you want to really get where you want to be, and besides losing that spare tire, I would really like to work on upper body strength. So he's given me some things to do for that. But ultimately, it's having an accountability partner, and he is my accountability partner, and I don't
Yes.
like to disappoint. So I will say that since I started on Monday, I have not had any sweets, and I'm going the first month no sweets, just out of curiosity to see what it does.
That's great.
And I've already lost 3 pounds, and it's really not about the weight. And I think that's something that everybody gets too wrapped up in. It's really about losing fat.
Randy, I'm just showing for those of for everybody watching the video portion of this, I'm showing a photo of you. None of us would say you're necessarily fat in this photo. Dude, you look pretty freaking fit, actually. But I understand where you're coming from. I just wanted, for those of us watching the video version, I wanted you guys to see Randy in all his glory working out in the box.
Absolutely.
You
Randy,
know,
so
that was actually the workout that Paul and I did. And if there's one thing I can tell you about that picture and that workout was, besides screwing up with the hand release push-ups, before we went to do that workout, we both worked really hard to increase our clean and jerks. And I was only at 135 a month before the competition. And obviously it was building weight as you went. And Paul happened to do, I think he was at 165. So I couldn't let him do it and let him not me do it too and let him down. And then he did 170 and I thought, I can't let him do that. We got to 170. Then he did 175. He said, oh, crud, I really got to muster this. And I got it. And then he did 180. And I thought, oh my gosh. I just got to. The first time I tried, I didn't get it. I said, I'm not going to give up. I got to do it. I did it, and you don't realize the things that'll come out of your mouth or your reactions or anything. I literally jumped up and down and yelled and was so excited that I got the 180. So you just got to keep your mind set and keep pushing because you can do anything you set your mind to.
So we have a few questions that our CrossFitters submitted
No,
for you, Randy.
Yep.
The first one.
I'm waiting for the one that I'm going to get.
First question, Randy, how many times are you on Sugar Watt each day to give all those fist bumps?
Well, first, I want to clarify this. I honestly, there's a reason behind my giving all the fist bumps. And here's the reason. When I first started with CrossFit, I felt like a fish out of water. And I was really a little anxious when I'd go to workouts because I'm not the most athletic person. And just the coaches saying great job when I would accomplish something meant a lot. Well, then when Sugar WOD came around, that's how I kind of felt when I was giving fist bumps, was just like, great job. Even if you didn't finish the workout, even if you didn't do everything that, you wanted to, you still were there. You still showed up. And then I thought, I don't want to miss anybody because I don't want someone to feel bad that I didn't fist bump them. So I know all the new people are going, who the heck is this guy? And the old timers just laugh. That's just
Great.
what I'm known for. And Jean has joined me as the female portion of doing it.
I
So
noticed. Go Gene.
I appreciate having a partner, in crime. But I get on right after I work out with the 545, because then I get the 5 and 545 people. Then I wait, and if I have a free moment, I know there's the class mid class that I'll catch them, and then I know that the 5 and 6 class, I just wait till 7 o'clock and catch all them. But then there's those people that will wait until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and I know who they are. So I'll just go back in right before I go to bed and do it again. So if that answers the
Love it.
question, I'm
Man,
about 4 times a day.
you're awesome.
That's great. Yeah, if for anybody who's listening, you may not be familiar, Sugar WOD is a platform that we use for posting all of our workout results, and you can fist bump somebody to virtually congratulate them and give them some love for the work they put in on that day. Now, Randy, 2 related questions from our CrossFitters. First, do you even feel the burden of being the baddest man at CFE? And related, how did you become such a badass?
Well, it's funny because I truly don't think of myself of either of those, and that I have arrived at that status. I see so many other people in the gym that I look up to for being those badasses that they really are. I think my tenacity and keeping with it might be part of the reasons that someone might call me a badass, but I just love what I do. When I come into the gym, I'm able to stay fit, and I always promised myself I'd never be that guy on the couch with the beer belly and not being able to get around and do things. So if that makes me a badass, then I'll take the title.
I think you deserved it. I think you've earned it and you deserve it. Julie Mears wants to know, what's your reason why? What is your why? And you may have just answered that. Is there something more to it, that is something like another layer of the onion we haven't addressed yet?
I will tell you that I honestly, the why behind doing CrossFit is to be the best that I can be, as it states in the Bible, the best version of yourself. And I don't want to get old, but I'm already old. So if I'm going to be old, I want to be able to get around and do things. And when I retire, I want to be able to go travel and enjoy myself. So I push myself to stay healthy, and for my family, for my friends, and for the man upstairs.
Cool, Randy. So 2 last questions before we let you go. First, any tips or suggestions, secrets to longevity? People that want to maintain a high level of fitness into their 60s. What any special tips or anything you'd like to share with those of us who want to follow in your footsteps?
I will tell you that this is true of whatever age you are. You have to really listen to your body, and don't do something to prove it to someone else. Do it for yourself. And stretching. I can't tell you how much I've learned in the last I'm always learning, but in the last 6 months, that when we had to endure what we've been enduring with COVID, for me to not stretch as much as I was actually caused me the first injury that I did to myself. I don't blame CrossFit. I blame myself. I was working out 6 days a week, no break at all, and I wasn't stretching enough, and I really caused myself some, not permanent damage, but it felt like it was at first. And so stretch. Guys, I can't tell you how important stretching is, and loosening up your body before you start lifting the weights or doing anything, really. I get up now at 5 as opposed to as close to 5:30 as I can, and get out the door so I can get there right on time. I literally get up at 5 to stretch for half an hour.
Wow.
And I think that they say 80% is nutrition, and I look at the Gregs of the world and the people that really put that to heart, guys, what you put in your body will either help you or hurt you. And I trust me, I'm a proponent of eating sweet, so I'm not preaching to y'all. I'm just saying that if you can moderate those things that you love, like myself, and you can put the better things in your body, you're going to last a lot longer, and you're going to be able to work out until you're 70 or 80. And there are people out there that are. So anybody can do it if you set your mind to it.
All right, Randy, last question. If you could make only one statement to the world, what would it be? Or to put it another way, if you could put one statement, one thing to say on a billboard for the whole world to see, what would that billboard say?
Be kind to everyone you come in contact with, no matter what the circumstance is, because you never know what they're going through. And you could be that light that helps them get through that rough time.
Love it. Any closing thoughts or remarks, Dallas, before we sign off for the day?
No, I mean, Randy, first of all, I didn't know a lot about your personal story. So thank you for sharing some of that, because you and I have connected outside of CFE, a couple of times, but I haven't really necessarily heard those story things. So this was great. This is the purpose of why we do this show, G, is to meet our CrossFitters, to learn these stories. So Randy, thanks so much, man.
Yeah, Randy, on behalf of all of us, thank you for being you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thanks for inspiring all of us. Thanks for all the fist bumps, too. Appreciate that also.
Hey, I know I get made fun of, and it's okay. It's worth it, because I'm going to continue doing it.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much. We're going to roll our end tape here and wish you guys have an amazing, beautiful, blessed, and championship day. Head us up at CrossFit Edwardsville for more information, to learn more, free ebooks, and to just get a better idea of what CrossFit is really like live. Peace, everybody.